Hello, YouTube. 'Tis I, Shaggy. I am Phil Alitea, and this is Final Fantasy II. We will be resuming where we left off last night shortly. Get used to seeing me begin these between 9 and 10 o'clock. I did not title this one to include an audiobook because my brain's fried. I said a lot of difficult things today to hear, a lot of difficult things to hear, a lot of difficult things to say. And I'm going to wait until I know I have an audience to continue with that thought. Okay. Do I remember what we're doing? Not well enough to not do this. Need to work on our... Yeah, we need to work on our... Well, saying we need to work on our magic defense is relative at this point. That's right. We were going north. They said north of that city is where the dreadnought is. I remember now. Thank you for that like. Okay. I wanted to wait to begin talking about my day until I knew you were here, so you wouldn't miss any of it. So, I talked about a lot of difficult things to say and a lot of difficult things to hear today, is where I left off. And those do take a toll on me to say. They take an intellectual, but they also take an emotional toll. Because what I do is after I've said them is like the short I made where I was talking about the women that I've loved and their body weight issues, or their body volume issues. Those weren't my issues. I was happy to get fat. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in a loving marriage, is get fat together, because you're not supposed to care if anybody else thinks you're attractive outside the marriage. And so long as you still have a loving and healthy relationship in the way that you want to have a loving and healthy relationship, sex notwithstanding, or sex being the thing that is withstanding, um, is irrelevant to my opinions. I'm always, when I'm making shorts, I am always selling myself as a kind of life coach, as a sort of life coach. And what I don't mean is kinda sorta. A type of coach. And people don't take me seriously. People were asking me either today or yesterday whether I'm on other social media. And when I talk about I spent a year on Twitter selling that as a service, and people don't take you seriously. So I don't title it anything besides Phil Alitea anymore. And I'm just constantly telling you what that is. And I'm constantly telling you that someday they will call me the philosopher of the grotesque. And so what I do is I prepare myself with arguments all day. I spend many minutes. I'll watch, like I watched the one talking about the women that I've loved and their body image issues. I watched it about 8 times before I clicked upload on that, to make sure that I didn't actually say anything indefensible. And I didn't even say... The only way you could be offended by me is if someone else has said something hurtful to you and you're thinking about them and projecting it onto me. And I know that there are people that would defend that statement given the opportunity. That I'm not here to hurt anybody, but I have to say provocative things in order to create a space for myself. It's like today, as you can watch it today on my live. Um, I got anxious and I needed to get up and move, and I needed certain of my Patreon audience, some of the future and some of those who may or may not be watching right now. I needed them to see what that looks like when I need to just get up and move, because I talk about it and they don't get to see it, because I go radio silent because I got to get up and I got to move. I got to be somewhere other than where I am right now. And so I walk and talked with him. I took him with me while I walked, and a guy almost hit me turning left. I don't know how you can turn left in an SUV as large as his and not look with your eyeballs left to make sure there's just not anything there. I don't know how you can know that you're turning left and not look left before you've stopped to let traffic come. I just do not know how people can drive without using their eyeballs. Anyway, I freaked out on this guy. I let my IED blow up because there were people all morning had been trying to tell me that I'm faking my homelessness, and so I was just letting it wash off, letting it wash off, letting it wash off, and then this guy almost hits me with his SUV, and I just freaked the fuck out, and I let it happen. Well, here's the thing. I'm not exactly telling this story right if you didn't watch it. A guy before that uh, drove his car way close to me and was staring at me through tinted windows, and so I yelled at him, "What do you think you're fucking looking at?" or something to that effect. And I flipped him off. Or I told him, "Yeah, keep looking at me. Look at this." Something like that, and I flipped him off. And so he speeds off about 50 feet ahead of me, maybe 100 feet ahead of me, and he comes to a complete stop. And so I just told the chat, I said, "You're about to witness a murder today. Because if this guy gets out of his car, I'm going to beat him to death with my phone right here in front of God and everybody." And then this guy wanted to tell me that I'm a menace and that I'm violent and that I'm inciting other people to violence because he had just walked into my chat, or because he's an idiot. And people feel like they need to express themselves for whatever reason. They feel like they need to express themselves contra to a speaker on their live. I don't understand the impulse, but they feel like they need to express themselves contra to what the speaker is doing, to interject themselves, but they would never dare going live for themselves. They would never dare. It would never occur to them to go live themselves and subject themselves to what they're doing, because they, in their heart of hearts, and they'll tell you this, believe that going live and subjecting yourself to that is the behavior of a stupid person, and thus marks you as deserving thereof, of the abuse they're dishing out to you. And so anyway, as I approached, prepared to hand this guy an ass whooping right outside of his tiny little Italian import car with its leather, whatever that's called, where it rolls back, convertible hood, right, in the middle of summer, for whatever reason, uncomfortable to keep his hood down in the middle of summer, doesn't exactly want to show off that much of his wealth, but does want you to know that he has a patent Italian leather hood convertible. Oh no, that didn't work. Usually it works. Well, we get to find out if we're ready. I know you're not ready, so just do your best, Gordon. You're a liability. All right, so far so good. And so then this guy almost hits me. And so I just let all that adrenaline of these people calling me a fake, and this guy calling me a menace, and this person following me, and obviously calling the cops and being told to fuck off. I'm allowed to walk in a parking lot. I let all of that pour off onto this motherfucker that almost hit me with his car. And I just screamed at the top of my lungs, I have the motherfucking right of way. And I kept walking. Hit me. Fucking please, God, hit me. Roll me under at low speed so that I get to go to a hospital and you get to spend your retirement, you old stupid fuck, making sure that I live comfortably for the rest of my life. Doped out of my mind on fucking opioids if necessary. Do it, please. God, I dare you. So anyway, I arrive at Panera and end that stream. And I go live and I play video games for a little while. And that just felt empty. So I ended that. And I was just so anxious and upset. And then my guy, Madge, let me know that not only did I help him get his life under control in a time of dire turmoil, so that he was able to not only keep his job, but stabilize his job and make new friends at his job and incorporate himself into the emotional community of his workplace in a time of extreme emotional betrayal and stress, which, if you haven't been paying attention to my long forms, you don't fully understand how to contextualize the miracle of what I did for his life. Not only did I do that for him, with him, but his wife is ending her contest of the divorce and he's won full custody of his child. Now they still have to get the judge to bang a gavel, but his little girl lives with him again. And so while people were actively trying to kill me in my life, the influence that I had on his had the best possible outcome for a young life, a 4-year-old little girl. And that was more important to me. Remains the most important thing to me. And so he gets to tell his lawyer that he no longer needs his services. Thank you for the counsel. I paid you for your time and for your counsel, but I no longer need your services. Which is something that my father was unable to do until my sisters turned 18. That was 10 years after I graduated. That was 12 years after he began the divorce process. And it took my buddy Madge 2 months. So if you can do math, the difference in 144 months and 2 months is that little girl's lifetime. I mean it, if you add that 12 years, she'll be 16 and ready to begin making her own adult decisions. Allowed to decide her own custody. And together we got him through that. And all that adrenaline and all that anger and all that just, I'm gonna hurt somebody today if they fucking talk to me the wrong way. And all the, this is just meaningless what I'm doing. Because those people that saw me blew up and were there with me, they're not gonna come back on purpose. And I don't want them to necessarily. It's just, I'm proud of the art that I've made today, but goddamn, if it's just, fuck, I fucked up. Okay. Fuck if it just feels empty right now. It just feels hollow. It rings like a bell in my head that just makes me nauseous. With this vibrating energy that there's no way to channel and release and let go of. Because it's the will to survive. And I won't. Fuck you, I won't. I won't let it go. And it just washed away. It was just gone because the work is what matters. We're here for the work. And the work reached into that little girl's life, and she doesn't even need to know who I am. Because if you've done it right, and I believe this, if you've done it right, they won't know you've done anything at all. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm alive, that I made that choice. And that I made the choice to be this person. And that, man, if you knew me during that time, fighting with him it was hard for me. It's hard for me to say and do these things. I'm not a weak person. And I do not like forcing people to test themselves against my strength, because you will break. And I love you, and I don't like watching that. I've lost so many people because they just couldn't take it. The last woman I was with, she just couldn't take trying to measure herself up to me every day. She couldn't take it. And I don't want you to. I'm not asking you to. But people don't understand that. People don't understand. And it's my job to make you understand. So on some level, it's my job to make you realize that you can't. And so stop. You're only hurting us both. And for why? And so I asked him, I said, does this mean that I'm going to do it now? Does this mean that I have to be ready? And he didn't say anything, so the answer wasn't going to give itself to me. So I took myself outside and I sat down under my favorite table, and I said a silent prayer of thanks in my heart that corporate was in the building at Panera today, because all of the umbrellas were up. So my favorite spot was shady and comfortable and had been for hours, so I didn't burn my ass when I sat down, and my pants weren't going to be soaked through on my legs on the underside when I stood up to go sit inside to charge my stuff later. And I did it. And my heart feels lacerated with barbed wire. Every time I read Plato, every time I read the Apology of Socrates, it's always delayed. It's never when I'm reading it. The agony. It's so delayed. But then the thought hits me at some point later in that 24-hour span, or that time that I'm awake, and I realize that he's dead. They killed him. They fucking killed him. And they're gonna kill me too. And so that's why I'm prepared to fight some strange guy in a Italian sports import in a parking lot for looking at me for too long. Because you never know what these people are thinking. You can't know what people are thinking about you. and what they'll do in their heart, and what they'll fantasize about, and then what they'll act on. You can't know. You can pray and you can convince yourself, oh shit, that you're okay and that you're safe, but you can't know. And so I choose to be ready. I choose to be ready to meet God at any moment, because ultimately God is the decider. God is the one who decides what they linger on, and I believe that in my heart. I've watched too many serial killer documentaries to believe that those people thought that they had any control over themselves. They're liars, pathological liars, and so when they say they are in control, they're lying, because they are liars. That is what they are. You can't convince yourself to do the things that those people did and not lie to yourself that it's not okay. And my heart hurts because you can't read the apology without reading the Phaedo. And I'm genuinely afraid of the Phaedo. I've never finished it. It's too much. It's too much. But if I can put you through my life, I can put myself through Socrates' final moments. Because Plato couldn't. He wasn't there. So I can put on my big boy toga, and I can sit at my favorite spot, and I can hope that the umbrellas are up, because I'm not putting them all up. I don't work there. Fuck you. Fuck even my own comfort. I don't work here. And this is a place of hospitality. So this morning, I don't like him, but I was listening to Ari Shafir. He's kind of a shitbag of a person. He's one of, if I'm not wrong, he's one of Joe Rogan's friends, and they're just all garbage people. But he was talking about something dear to my own heart. He was talking about the Shabbat, the real Shabbat, and he was talking to a goy audience, basically, to the Gentile audience, and he was explaining that if out of nowhere on a Friday your conservative Jewish neighbors talk to you for the first time ever, it's because they need you to do something that's forbidden to them in their religion on Shabbat, on Saturday and Friday night, because it actually begins Friday night. It's Friday night to Saturday night anyway, because the old world religions, the ceremonies like Samhain and Midsummer, they actually began the night before. So we actually celebrate Halloween on the wrong night. But that's why we celebrate it at night and not during the day. But there was also a day festival. And anyway, the celebrations at night were about bringing new life into the world for the next um, half of the solar cycle. They were about guaranteeing summer babies. Samhain was. Halloween was about guaranteeing summer babies. And Midsummer was about it was about knowing who and when the spring babies were going to be. It was about guaranteeing spring babies. Because that, I don't remember why I opened this. I need to do this, and my nose is running, and I'm having a hard time holding it all together right now. I don't know why I'm talking about these rituals. He was talking about, they're called goy. to Ashkenazi conservative Jews, um, Gentile or non-Jewish people. Um, I guess I don't know what the context is, whether it's that they like or what, but you want to be a, I think he called it a Shabbat goy, and that they'll give you lots of challah, but you want lots of challah because challah is like zinnia, it's like hospitality, it's basically love. It's basically they'll treat you like a member of the family, even if you're not a member of the family, and you want that of all of your neighbors. That's what agape is. That's what Jesus insisted on. Basically, he was saying, don't treat them like goy or Gentiles just because they're goy or Gentiles. Treat them like they're goy or Gentiles if they're rude and uncouth toward you, because you never know when a first impression might lead to them helping you on the Shabbat for no reason other than because they want to. And that's the thing, is they're forbidden. Conservative Jews are forbidden within the law of the faith, within the law of the Torah, to ask for help on that particular day. So if you remember me, you may not have even been able to hear it, but I was criticizing these two women who were talking about how Christians need to observe the Sabbath. First of all, you're calling it by the wrong name if you really know what you're talking about. And second, if that's true, how did you get here without the help of a goy? They were at Panera, and they drove themselves, which is forbidden within the rules of the Shabbat. So they just don't know what they're talking about. And in saying the things they're saying in public, they're being openly racist in their ignorance. And so when I say that history is racism all the way down, it literally is. Saying anything with the confidence that you're not wrong is racism. And so when I talk about saying things that are very difficult for me to say, like being critical of people who are overweight, for example, you got to understand that my brother was overweight. Both of my sisters are overweight. My father was overweight. And the reason is because all of them are too stupid to understand that the Mountain Dews and the energy drinks equal fat. They equal fat. Sugar equals body fat. And they just could not do the mathematics. And so when I'm talking this morning and I'm going, oh my God, it's actually that? I'm actually being angry at myself. I'm actually realizing how stupid and hurtful I've been without realizing it. I'm not going to apologize for it. And neither did Plato. No, I'm sorry, neither did Socrates. Socrates didn't apologize. He didn't say he was sorry. When he was convicted, he said, well, what you should do is you should put me up at the state's expense and you should feed me like a hero, because the heroes of the Olympiad, they don't need the money or that food. They're already independently wealthy. That's how they were able to win the Olympiad. So you should give me that money and that food, because I'm a man in my 70s and I'm only going to need it for a few more years. And instead they fed him a tea made of hemlock. And so I have no illusions that what I'm doing is kicking up my feet and relaxing. I say I am, because eventually I have to unwind. I'm wound up like a fucking top. You don't even remember those. There was a toy where there was a top toy that you used to wind up real tight with tension and then pull a ripcord and it would just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. And these were the toys that children had when I was a child. Especially poor people. So I've just been really reminding myself to breathe a lot today. And I had a neat audience of 6 people who actually hung out with me for an average over the course of 2 hours and 34 views of 12 minutes. So that averages out to a while. Those four and then later 6 for the last half hour. That's a lot. of time that they spent actually watching me play that game in a Panera, not really able to make a lot of noise or do this, because I was emotionally exhausted from having read Socrates. Socrates' Apology, having read Plato. And so I keep promising, and I'm part of why I went through and I made thumbnails for all my work today is because I keep promising that I'm going to make a video of Dead Cells or some other game that you don't really need to watch the video, because I'm not going to do a lot of winning over top of the books that I've been reading, Euthyphro, etc., and that might take me some time. Because they take a toll on me. That frankly affects my ability to be with and be loved by a human woman. And that makes me feel very alone for a lot of the day. And so I joke about it and I allude to how I'm working on it, but man, I prostituted myself for much of the last decade to avoid just being alone. Literally accepted money for the act and paid my rent with it for a long time. And then if we were really going to break down and really sit down as adults and discuss my psychopathology that led to my marriage, that led to me being here, and you really wanted to sit down and hear that story, what I would have to tell you outright that I already know, and so you don't need to do the psychoanalysis, is that I was prostituting myself for a home. And I know it. Because I didn't expect to live this long. I say that a lot, and I don't think people appreciate what that means. The expectation. Life expectancy. The expectation. I don't think we appreciate this word, expectation, of a particular number of years of life. Well, I expect to live to 60 or 70 years. I didn't expect to live to 30. I just assumed that I would find a way out before then, or that someone would give it to me. And then it didn't happen. Because I put myself to the work of fighting the ennui through loving these women, even though they just didn't deserve it. They just didn't deserve it. And that takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on your soul. It takes a toll on your willingness to live. Boy, oh boy, my pelvis hurts today, y'all. It's been really eating at me all day. It just hurts, and it hurts, and it aches. I just gotta keep telling myself it's because it's trying to heal. That's what that means. broke a tooth live on stream, and that was embarrassing. And of course, people want to try to ridicule you for anything that's embarrassing, and so I had to play that off like I was just okay with it, because I had to just be okay with it, because, like I keep talking about, it's not even, it is about, but it's like I keep trying to be a beacon. I was talking to a woman in her 50s today who bonded with me a little bit, because I told her that it's just not her fault that she didn't have any adult examples, and that the only thing she knows to do well, the only thing she knows how to do is hygiene. It's not your fucking fault. So I didn't think I was going to live to 30. I've been talking about this every night this week, and so of course I break a fucking tooth trying to... Give me a second, because I'm skipping this dialogue, and I really, really like this game. And I need to not let my stupidity get in the way of my joy, because that's what you guys are here for. Mr. S says, we can't. Not yet. We have to rescue the princess first. Cool. We can't blow up the dreadnought because we have to rescue Princess Leia. What happens if we fight our way out like this? How tough are these boys relative to our actual MP? Really tough if they're going to do that dumb shit. I'm not even looking at how much damage we're doing. Nice. Not that tough. Okay, so how did I come in here? I don't remember where I came in. I bet the map... Come on. That was a long... Mouse. Gordon. Big. Hey, Gordon's up to 99% evasion. Would have loved it if that had manifested on that fight, but you know, it's whatever. It had a 7%. Oh no, that's bad news, Bears. Okay. And so you also didn't get an example of... Nobody has an example of graceful aging. Graceful does not meaning slow and beautiful. Graceful meaning at the will of God. So I just have to... I have to believe, and I have to be consistent, and I have to live as though it's true that God put me here for a reason, and these things that keep happening happen for a reason, and that I don't need to know what it is until the future. But damn it, I want to rally a community of people together to support one another when I'm gone, in case this tooth abscesses and I die in my sleep one night. Because when I tell you to take care of yourselves, because I can't do it for you, I'm fucking serious. I can care for you when I can see your names in my chat, but that's the best I can do for you right now. I can't afford... Hey, Ying, I see you, buddy. I got my chat to work just long enough to say hey to Ying. He showed up and he made himself acquainted with me this morning. He got to watch my tooth break. That made me happy. You understand that I am very happy right now. I'm just an artist, and so I gotta live in this melancholy for a while. Not only because women like it, but because it's authentic to me. right? And so we don't only do things because women like them, but that incentivizes us to do healthy things. And so I told that story last night about how I got right. I got until I brushed my teeth on stream like I promised I would today too, which is awkward and weird, but people will tell you, when you make the claim, well, I got really good at it. It was something I cared about a lot and I researched and I learned how to do properly. So I showed it, the 30 to a quadrant, really get in there and scrub it clean. And that has its own form of erosion when you do it though as infrequently as I have been. And so I didn't understand that for a really long time. And then I was talking about it this morning. I just let the depression win for a really long time. I was talking about, I got that guy talking about the difference in strategy and tactics, and the depression. It's like I keep talking about. It's not an EKG. It's a four-dimensional hypercube. All right, and you're not trying to you're not trying to control it. You're trying to keep a spherical pressure on it over time, and you're trying to compress that sphere down to the smallest possible singularity as you can because it behaves. The depression, that's the way out, isn't it? I'm a little stoned, and that's a good feeling. I've been putting it off so I don't spend so much of Mr. S's money on weed, because people give me shit for it. I just have so much patience for being given shit. And eventually that patience does affect these streams, and it does affect who I would like to be my regular audience. And I don't want it to be like working retail and customer service again, where I show up ready to fight a motherfucker every day. That's not fair to anybody. Well, it's fair to certain people. It's not fair to my audience. It's not fair to the people who actually like the shit I do when I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place right now, by the way. Don't be worried. Like Mr. S, if you're texting me to ask if I'm good, I am good. You're not texting me right now. I'm just saying. I am good. Very good. That's why I'm willing to share this. If I weren't good, you would know it because I wouldn't have got on this stream. I would have been quiet and I would have just told you, I would have apologized for it in the morning and said, look, I wasn't good. I needed the space. I'm fine. I am good. Like I'm saying, I vented it appropriately in a way that was healthy and that I hope builds a community of people who don't emulate me in any way other than being authentic to their emotions and apologizing if they don't think that they were necessarily the we're in deep shit right now. I have been arrogant, and this is what I get for it. Because Mouse is out. And I have no Phoenix Downs. She was my life. She had my life spell. So now we pray. We like the Mangouche. We care less about the Trident. Also, we cheat. Because we don't want her to fall way behind in weapon and experience gain. And I don't remember what I was talking about. That was stressful enough. It snapped me back into the moment with the game. I love you guys dearly. Whether you're subscribers, passers-by. And it's uncomfortable for men to hear, and for women who don't know you to hear, well, I love you, because we've only got the one word. But I care deeply. An iron gate blocks the way. This cell is empty. No, this cell is not empty. This cell has monsters in it that I forgot about. I knew I knew when I came into the fight that Hilgigas was going to be a problem. I didn't think he was going to be a problem to the tune of 600 health in one hit. I didn't think that was going to happen. If I had, I would have used defensive spells and I would have treated that like a boss fight. But now we know. But as damage to my teeth goes, actually the tooth that broke isn't the tooth that I thought it was, and it was actually just a crack, a fragment of tooth at the back of the tooth. I thought it was the teeth that are hurting. I don't know if you've noticed, but my teeth on the bottom are very crooked, and so they're just really hard to get clean. So I've just assumed my whole life that my best move was for those to need medical intervention that somebody else thrust on me, because that's how people tend to get actual medical interventions. Oh, what a relief. I thought that was going to be much more brutal and tedious to cope with. And entirely my fault is what it was. I don't think there were Final Fantasies. I know there were Final Fantasies in this game. I don't think there were Phoenix Downs in this game. So I'm trying very hard to do a Phoenix Down less run. But I got arrogant. Only giving one person life. That was arrogant. No, it wasn't. It was impatient for the stream. Because I haven't been doing with this game what I've been able to find myself able to do tonight. And I do mean that sentence structure. You got to understand, I'm not wandering my way to long sentences that I don't understand. When I say something like able to be able, I mean that. I mean exactly that. Because we're not always able, we're not always capable. And sometimes it's nice to just be like, maybe you've never had like a severely injured limb, right? But like, I fucked up my left knee and my pelvis really bad. Okay? And so what happens is your body overcompensates. All right? And so in doing that, I've also fucked up my left hip by overcompensating. And so my spine is starting to curve. And by starting, I mean has been curving for 5 years as my body compensates for the fact that if I were to stand upright the way you're supposed to, my guts will fall out, right? So basically, like if you've ever stood like idle and crossed your right leg over your left leg like a James Dean pose, that's how my pelvis has been for 8 years. I've been standing like that for 8 years, and it has an effect. It has these ripple effects, cascading effects. And that's what I was trying to explain to the first doctor I brought my injury to. I brought my injury to a doctor, of course I did. And I said, hey, I have this injury. I'm not going to talk about it. It's horrible. I got it doing this. It's cascading tears in these places. If you would allow me, I can take your finger and poke your finger through the holes in my muscles, if you would like. And she was like, ew, no. And she wanted me to go to a urologist. And I'm like, okay, but I'm a commuter bicyclist and I can't afford Uber. So it's going to take me a bicycle ride to get there, and I'm probably going to end up being late. So we just opened this iron gate and we found Hilda. Mr. S says, I meant to meet you at Cashwan Keep, but things didn't go as planned. Oh, Hilda said, I'm sorry. Thank you for coming to rescue me. I must have hit X twice by accident or something. Oh, no, Hilda said, Mr. S. There we go. I meant to meet you. I'm sorry. I'm just dumb. Thank you for coming to rescue me, she says. And then Sid says, let's save the thank yous for later. I'll head for the airship with the princess. You find that engine and toss the sunfire in it. You got it? I'm going to get the airship ready for takeoff, and I don't plan on waiting around for long. All right, Hans. Just don't fall in love with her, buddy. Might be my sister. And that makes me think of the bushes of love. Man, I had this weird dream. There was this girl kissing all over me. Yeah, remind me to tell you about that later. Remind me about that later. There's something about her I gotta tell you. That's funny shit right there, man. Every day I hope I don't find what I don't want to find. Any more crispy bodies by the door. I used to laugh at that so fucking hard. My ex is like, I do not know how you can laugh at that. And I'm like, because Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen are crispy bodies by the door, and he found them one day. But then he left Tatooine. But in the reality of this song, he's been trolling Tatooine for years, hoping that he doesn't return to find more crispy bodies at the door. And that shit's funny to me. And so this is what people with CPTSD, people with severe trauma, you've learned you are anybody. You is anybody. But I know people who do this. And so what I'm telling you is that it's not bad. It's okay. But you've learned that when CPTSD, people with severe trauma, say something that's a little bit true for comfort, what they do is they immediately bounce to projected humor. And so maybe I'm over speaking telling this story, and you can chastise me for it later, but somebody did that with me once. They shared a little bit more than they meant to, and I don't think they have the kind of complex and severe trauma that I'm talking about. That's not what I mean. And then they went, well, what you got to do is you got to laugh about it. And I said, well, you don't got to laugh about it. You don't have to. That's something that we learn from people with severe trauma, because that's what they will do. And then you learn, oh, well, you just got to laugh it off. Well, you don't got to laugh it off. You don't got to laugh it off, because that's an unrealistic expectation of strength for them too. I've gone the wrong way and I don't remember how to get back down there. For them, projecting their pain as humor or as a joke or as something that I can laugh it off now is a way of not stopping the conversation for you to go, are you okay? Like, really, are you okay? Because they'll have to go, no, of course I'm not okay. And so a guy humiliated me on my live today by trying to pull that shit. I'm yelling at this guy and yelling about how I have Castle Law and these people can all fucking kiss my ass and nobody gets to run Vincent Dennis over, not without getting a middle finger shoved up his fucking face the whole time. And this guy goes, are you all right, man? And I go, of course I'm not fucking all right. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm not fucking all right. This guy just nearly hit me on my way to work while I'm doing a live stream in front of all of these people. And then another guy goes, well, I'm reporting you now for that. Well, thank you for trying to make my day better. I love that you decided to reach into my life and try to give me a smile. Please be close to me so I can reach into your life with my size 10 boot. People need to be spoken to the way I am speaking right now. They need it. People need to be afraid. How do I know this? Summerween is currently happening. Bed Bath & Beyond actually has a sign in its door right now that says, "Come smell the fear." You are so far removed from any natural dangers that you need candles that smell like fearsome things. These people need to be afraid. And anyway, most of the people that watch my work think I'm faking it. They genuinely believe that I'm faking it, like that guy that pretends to jump off of high places onto a green screen. And that's fine. If you can't tell the difference, you were never going to subscribe to the Patreon, which is something that I have unfortunately had to say to people before. Like, I had this guy who uh, was coming to my lives and listening to me read, and he kept wanting to disrupt the lives to talk about his girlfriend. And so I figured out very quickly that he wasn't listening to what I was reading. He was talking to someone that he thought would talk back, because that's what people think these lives are. People think that the live on YouTube is like Omegle or something, like we're here to chit chat. And so they'll just talk to you like this is a FaceTime, because they're tone blind and frankly socially retarded. Retarded means slow. It doesn't mean whatever you think. Now, if I said developmentally retarded, you could be offended. They're just slow because they have no experience, because no one has ever treated them like an adult before, so they don't know what adult life is like. They've never been taken to a concert before. They've definitely never been taken to a classical concert where they weren't allowed to make any noise at all. Woo! Okay, I guess it was only 370, but hey, she survived at that time. Okay, so now what happens is you assholes heal, because you're not going to survive another one of those. Alright, as we were. I don't remember what I was talking about. It'll come back to me or it won't. Because I'll end up talking about it tomorrow if it doesn't come back to me tonight. That's kind of the point. But anyway, I figured out pretty quick that he was only coming there to talk to me about his girlfriend, and how he was afraid that his girlfriend was going to break up with him. And it's like, well, after a while, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then he gets in a short that was days old and tells me that he's decided that I'm a narcissist and that I'm only making these shorts to make people feel bad about themselves to give me money. And so he was going to unsubscribe and not recommend my channel or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, I don't care. You were never going to pay. And then there have been a couple of other people who've subscribed at $10. And then when I've tried to talk to them, have not checked the message and then canceled. So I don't understand. That's why I'm constantly explaining to you what the product that you're buying is. I don't understand what people are hearing. You can't know what people are taking away from you when you speak. You can't know. And so it used to be pathological for me that I couldn't repeat myself. That I didn't like repeating myself, would not repeat myself, could not repeat myself, because my dad used to hit if you made him repeat himself. My dad used to hit. But telling you that and then expecting you to uphold my father's standard, or at least the standard that I set for myself because of my father's hitting, is actually projecting and transferring my trauma onto you, which is why I'm telling you that my standard is my standard. My standard is so high, all you can do is but settle for less. And I would encourage you to find a less that's comfortable. But I would suggest that it's higher than whatever society's is, or whatever you think it should be. Societies. I would highly recommend that you hold yourself to a higher standard of excellence than the rest of the world holds themselves, or that your community's minimum standard is. So if your community is a C minus standard, I would recommend at least trying to get a C. You don't want to stand out because the tallest nail attracts the hammer. I was talking this morning about how the woman that I was with most recently just couldn't take it. She couldn't take me and trying to live up to my standard, or comparing herself to my standard. And it's like the thing that I said to her that got her to quit alcohol. She was talking about, well, I'm smarter than the rest of this town, or I'm better at X, Y, and Z than the rest of this town. And I said, bitch, this is Zanesville, Ohio. This is podunk the fuck nowhere. That's like saying that you're the tallest legless midget. Sit the fuck down and work on your ass. You are nobody in nowhere. And she just couldn't take it. And maybe that was the wrong thing to say. But she was a drunk. And I was long since pushed past the point of those things that they do to you while you're a drunk, while they are drunk, rather, do to you while they are drunk. Pronouns are difficult to me under stress. That 12-step programs make them write out in letters to themselves and read out loud to themselves, and then read out loud in group, and then say out loud to the victim. And she refused. So I didn't owe her more dignity than how I spoke to her. And you can't understand until you've lived with an alcoholic. I love you, Joe. But you want to slow down. That shit is literal poison. And it will ruin every relationship you've ever had. Not Joe, Josh. I think about you guys after you leave. Because you think you're just offloading on some stranger who doesn't care. But you're not. You're offloading on a stranger who cares deeply. A stranger who's telling you that he's making it his work to care and to help in a meaningful way. Because your therapist is going to keep you emotionally indebted so he or she has a sustained income. I don't want you emotionally indebted, but I do want a sustained income. I've thrown the Sunfire into the engine. What have you done? The engine! The Dark Knight says. That voice, Mouse says. There's no time, Mouse, Mr. S says. The ship will blow up any minute. We have to get to Sid's airship. Wop weep, wop weep, wop weep. Their harp sounds are better than my mouth noises, but that's kinda what this sounds like. Oh, now it's going like. It doesn't really sound like that at all, but I was doing a pretty good job, so I was enjoying it. does sound kind of like that, though. But not really. Uematsu. Nobuo Uematsu only got his name. It only took me 7 episodes. But Nobuo Uematsu is a legend, and I will never do his music justice. So I don't do a very good job of trying very hard. And see, that's something that I don't think people do. My dad, when I was a little boy, when I was in 1st grade, he told me, so long as you do your best, it doesn't matter how badly you do. So long as you did your best, nobody can ask more of you than what you can ask of yourself, so long as it was your actual best. And so I don't think people grade themselves on whether they gave themselves, or I don't think people grade themselves on whether they actually gave their maximal effort. So if we were to talk about, and I were still to be justified why I want to do a philosophy for the football fan, and not just a philosophy for the sports fan, but the philosophy of the football fan. If you listen to quarterbacks, especially, one of the first things, like the first thing they're grading is their effort on every throw. If you listen especially to scouts talk about defensive linemen, they'll talk about their motor, they'll talk about whether they give maximal effort every play. And if you can visibly see that a guy is not giving maximal effort when he comes to you on the sideline and says, well, I did my best, you can say, fucking liar, and be right. King of Fen, Gordon, Minwoo, and Mr. S. I have one last request to ask of each of you, please. Listen carefully. You're standing on my testicle. Gordon, you've grown so strong. I want you to lead our army. Do all you can to help Hilda. Wait, what the fuck? You're just emoting Hilda? My liege, I swear it on my very life. Minwoo, you know of the legend. The legend speaks of the ultimate magic that was sealed away. The seal may only be broken when the world stands at the brink of destruction. I believe that time has come. Do you agree, old friend? I do, you old dickbag. The time to break the seal binding the Ultima Tome is upon us. Mr. S., I would have you go to Deist, home of the Dragoons. I was told that all of the Dragoons were slain in an attack by the Empire. Yet I refuse to believe there are no survivors in so noble a group. They got bored of the ellipses, too. If we are to stand against the might of the Empire, I am convinced we will need the Dragoons and their wyverns. If you combine your efforts, we remember to ellipsate. The day of our victory will come. This I ask of each of you. I just don't know your names. Take care of Hilda. Your Majesty. Hey, thanks for those likes, guys. We should save our tears for another time, Gordon says. Gordon has become a man. It turns out if you stand on another man's testicle long enough, you'll absorb his masculinity. We must carry out the king's last wishes. We each have our duties. Let them not go unfulfilled. It's too bad you weren't a guest in the party when we were standing on your brother's testicles. I mean, when your brother died. Of causes that had nothing to do with our presence. Shut up, Minwoo. You don't know anything, Minwoo. You don't know anything about stray fireballs. You want to talk about stray fireballs, Minwoo? I can come back in the hideout because I forgot to talk to you about stray fireballs, actually. Stand still. Let's talk about stray fireballs. Oh, shit. Never mind, guards. I wasn't talking about stray fireballs when I went into the place where the king's body most recently was. Hilda has just been flat out replaced. When the Emperor first moved against Deist, we dismissed the attack as a mere skirmish. But the Emperor feared the power of the Dragoons. He meant to wipe them out. Gordon, you've become so masculine. Some say the Dragoons can speak the language of the Wyverns. It's like I got your weapon skill up to level 8, and now you feel like a big boy. What's a wyvern? If you go to Deist, you may find wyverns that yet live. A wyvern would make for a most advantageous ally. You should visit the port of Paloom and seek out a ship to take you to Deist. Now wait a second. Deist, you say? It's an island kingdom located in this sea east of the snow plains. To get there, you'll have to take a ship from Paloom and sail south. Well, look at you not being an old dickbag. Who trimmed your beard? Should we talk to these people and see how they feel? His Majesty's passed away, hasn't he? I want to ride a wyvern and thrive through the air. We've lost our king. We've lost our king. We've lost our king. Yep, we've lost our king. His Majesty's passed away, hasn't he? They've gendered some of these. Deist, you say? Yep. They've skinned some of these things they say too. That's clever. I'm not laughing at it as a bad thing. Mr. S says he must have woken up on the right side of the nursing home. That old fuck. Hopefully that wasn't on the screen, but it also looked pretty cool if it was. So maybe that just becomes a part of my show if it was, because that looked pretty cool actually. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like that. Visually, just for myself. What am I doing, guys? We're going to Paloom, right? God, I really, really need to, like, focus on paying attention to what I've read. Reading comprehension, Vincent. First grade, buddy. Reading comprehension, get ye some. All right. Thank you for... I'm sure that I've left a story on the vine, and I'm not venting. But thank you for letting me do that thing that feels like venting to people who don't know what I'm talking about. What is with all these people dying whenever we step on their... arrive? What was that about stray fireballs? Anyway, I got some mana to burn and some spells to gain because we're going on the new continent, and if you've ever played a Final Fantasy game, you've watched me play one, when you continent hop, things get difficult. And so really we really want our... I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember whether there was a boss in that dungeon. I couldn't remember whether we fight the Black Knight for the first time in that dungeon. So I was trying to be conservative a little bit. Which turns out was the right choice, because that Hillgigas, if we hadn't been conservative, would have wiped the floor with us. But we could probably have a lot more HP than what we do. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. I'm not gonna spend all evening on this fight. Just gonna do this a little bit, and I might eat this bag of chips or something, because I gotta... What time actually? How are we doing on time? That right at it. If I hadn't let Mouse die, that would have taken exactly an hour. It's taken an hour and 13. I feel good about that. I feel good about... Because these old games, I've talked about it quite a lot, but this one's really good about giving you hour play cycles. Play for an hour, story beat. Play for an hour, finish a dungeon. Play for an hour, access a new dungeon. Play for an hour, have a new set of gear. Play for an hour, have all your spells ready, like that. There is a very good chance Mr. S asked me whether I'm leaving Mouse the sole person with life. And I really need to give it to Kyle. I really need to give Kyle... He asked if we're multi-classing. I need to give it to Kyle. I like Mr. S. There's a particular way that I like Mr. S. Furion to have his spells. I'm just a particular kind of guy. I like to do things the same way every time. And there's a particular way that I like his spells, his spell books to read, basically laid out. And so I don't like to give all three of them life, but I do thank you for the reminder. That was a timely reminder. And and an A plus job producing. If you listen to podcasts, especially if you listen to podcasts that have gone corporate, you'll get the joke I'm making. And if you don't, um, I'll explain it when you're older. Oh no, well, probably should have done this sooner. The shell reduces magic damage. And what we want them to do is get their magic defense up. The HP would be nice. The HP will get up when we get to the next spot. If it's as powerful as I think it is. Our HP will improve when we're fighting more powerful stuff that's doing more damage every time it hits us. That's how this game works. And I'm trying not to cheat it. You know what? I've already changed my mind. That's as much as we're preparing for the next continent. Because if I get ahead of the next continent and you don't see how powerful it is, you don't believe me. I forgot. I'm so sorry. She asks, "Hey, are you guys trying to go to Deist?" And Marie Mouse asks, "Are you sure it's a good idea? She's dressed like a pirate." And Mr. S goes, "Maybe it is a bad idea, but there aren't any other ships going to Deist. We're just gonna have to trust her." "Me name's Layla. I'll be waiting outside the city for ye. We'll weigh anchor as soon as you're set to go." That wasn't a bad pirate voice. I've never tried to do pirate. That means they wrote it really well. I'm just constantly complimenting this game, and now I'm complimenting the localization of the remaster. But that was pleasant. That was a pleasant experience doing my first ever pirate voice. That is what that sounded like. And I'm far enough away from the mic that I am confident that did not hurt your ears. I haven't saved in a minute, I feel like. Our MP is so good. We have gotten such beneficial rolls as far as leveling up our MP. This game, that I'm super dupers actually not worried about being able to sustain our way through the next thing. We just got to buy a couple of cottages. Just got to make sure to buy a couple of cottages. Uh-oh, story beat. "Trustin' pirates doesn't say much for the space you got between your ears. We'll spare ye your lives, but your loot be ours now. What's this? Is a fight you be wantin'? You really are stupid. Get 'em, boys." And you remember this is an homage. This is an homage to the first Final Fantasy. You remember the last time we fought and dealt with pirates was much like this. And it went much like this. The first time when we used sleep on them and it was just embarrassingly easy to whittle them down one at a time before AoE spells. That is still one of my proudest human moments. That was one of the coolest things I have ever done, recorded with anybody in the room, solo or otherwise. "Enough! I know what I'm beat. Go on, then. Do what you're gonna do and be done with it." Trail mix, hardtack, health potions, a few whole houses to keep in our back pockets. Hey, man. Hey, if you've ever read the D&D 3.5 handbook, there's a spell, Mordenheimer's Magical House, where you can summon a whole fucking mansion if you're high enough level. "What are you up to?" says Layla. I'm not chastising you, Mr. S. That's not a real chastisement. I'm just playing along with the logic of the game. "You want to fight the Empire together? A bunch of outcasts like us fighting right alongside the likes of ye." I guess I've been listening to a Scottish guy talk. "I think I like the sound of that." Or an Irish guy. "To your posts, boys. Whether it be Deist or the edge of the world, we'll get ye there. We'll get ye there." Layla joined the party. Hey, look at that. We got a lady. And she talked to the lady in our party. You know what that does? That satisfies that thing that Star Wars doesn't. This is officially better than Star Wars. We got the boat in the same way in 2 games in a row. How charming. I'm not being ironic or sarcastic. How actually charming that that's how you get your boat. That's how you get your boat to go a swimming. You captivate pirates twice and you put 'em to work. How cool! And this time the pirate joins the party. Arr, yes. What? Well, okay. That was for me, and I'm glad I did it. If there were any singular person in human history that I could be, just like switch lives with in a Freaky Friday kind of way, and then like fuck off and break the statue or whatever and never give him his life back, it'd be Little John. Just so I could tell people my claim to fame is that I yell. And I'm not joking. What do people know me for doing? Okay. Yep, I could live that life. Hard work. I don't get that, but yes. I don't know the reference, but yes, effectively. Hard work might be what he's doing. Yes, they gotta work. Put them to work. But yeah, I like this game a great deal. And this is where I left off on my last save. I was grinding up to 2500x HP and level 7 with all of my spells with everybody. And I didn't get that accomplished. We're not doing that. I didn't get that accomplished before I was done beating the first Final Fantasy. So here we are. You can barely hurt these things with melee weapons at level 7 melee weapons. I see, you get at least one shitty pirate pun per boat. Yes, I understand. You were a little bit behind me in jokes. Not that you were riffing, it's that I had forgotten that there were pirate jokes ever being made. And so I needed to just slow my damn roll. I was actually going to sing the battle theme in Zoidberg's voice. Yep. I know that that's not only Zoidberg isn't the only person who ever made that noise. It's one of the Marx brothers. I'm not sure who it is. Hey now. Yes, that's how I talk to NPCs. I say, hey now. Get on out here. So remember how I said that we were going to let the difficult fights in the next continent be and look difficult? I wasn't shitting you. Oh man, I think my collarbone is from sleeping on my left side. I think it's come dislocated again. It aches. And I just made a bunch of really gross grinding noises that you really don't want your bones making. Getting old, man. It actually doesn't suck as bad as people make it seem. Sure, it hurts. But if you lived a good life, if you lived maybe a hard life is the wrong way to say it, but like if you used your body in a way that you can think back to your youth fondly of the way you used your body, which I most certainly did, then getting old is kind of a relief. It's kind of welcome. It's like, ah, yes. I no longer feel compelled to do those things because I can. But I'm glad I have the story of the times I did those things. Like the time in high school where I thought it would be a good idea to go across the band room at a dead sprint. Now, I was not a band nerd, so don't start with me. But I thought it would be a good idea to go at a dead sprint and jump up on one of the band chairs that, I don't know if you know this, don't have grippies for that tiny carpet in the band room. And I thought what I would do is I would jump off it at a dead sprint and I would pose in air and it would look awesome. And what happened instead? is that I leapt off of the chair, and the chair went flying across the room, and I posed at chair height in the air, and then landed in a split on the ground, and it was fucking hilarious and hurt like a son of a bitch. But it was fucking hilarious because that wasn't what I thought was going to happen. But I should have known it was, because I understood physics well enough to know that was exactly what was going to happen. But I used to like to do chaotic shit like that because I could sustain the damage, and my friends were all fat nerds. And so doing athletic shit in front of fat nerds and then getting hurt is basically what Evel Knievel made a career out of. So why the hell couldn't I have a high school career that was made effectively out of the same? I did dumb shit like that all the time. I never really got hurt, and it was never jackass level of dumb shit. Like, I was never trying to do things that could get me hurt. Like, my last girlfriend used to bring it up all the time, and she used to really ridicule me for it. But I don't know why I did this. But I don't know if you've ever seen what band bleachers are, but they're not 6 feet or fewer off the ground. But I got it in my head one day. I was sitting on the back row of the band bleachers because that's where the first trumpets sat. And I got it in my head that I didn't need to walk down the band bleachers. I just needed to walk off the back of the bleachers. And I didn't explain to my girlfriend that I know where it came from. I had the idea in a dream. And so I had the memory of having done it. And I didn't question the dream. I was 15 or 16. I might have been as old as 17. And I just walked off the back of the bleachers, which were 20 feet in the air. And I realized when my lead foot did not come close to hitting ground that, oh, I'm going to die. And so my body did the monkey thing, and I caught myself. But now I'm hanging, suspended in air off the back of the bleachers. You know, feet and arms hugging the back of the bleachers for dear life. And my best friend and my girlfriend just laugh at me. Of course they did. But they just laugh. And I'm like, yeah, guys. Yeah. Leave the guy who's petrified of heights dangling upside down off the back of fucking band bleachers and laugh at him. No, I was laughing too. It was fucking hilarious. Why did I do that? That's what Spencer asked me. He goes, why did you do that? And I said, I don't know. Please help me up. I'm very afraid right now. So that's my life. That's how my life has gone. In a nutshell. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit different than what we're doing here, because I know where we're headed, actually. And so I'm gonna like suspend the disbelief that this is the first time I've ever played this game, because I keep talking about how much I love this game. So that can't be true. And I'm gonna go straight to where I know we're going, and I'm gonna take the easiest route so we're not fighting that fight again. You saw basically everybody got blanket better across all their stats, but we're not doing that again. I'll let Mr. S work on his spells, and we'll let Kyle work on his spells, and we'll let the party work on their HP, because fuck, but we don't need to be as overpowered as I was trying to get that party to be. I am seeing as I do this. I don't know what the next dungeon we're looking at is going to be like. That's why we want to carry around some houses in our backpack. Cottage. They're inflatable cottages. See, it's you know, the funny thing is, and I shouldn't do this, but because this game is so familiar with, and of course Japanese people are so familiar with Akira Toriyama, Dragon Quest, but also Dragon Ball, it's probably not unlikely to them that the cottage, they're thinking of a capsule court, little capsule. So it might be just a little capsule that you press the thing and throw down a house. Didn't Bulma do that in one of the first season? Didn't they have a capsule corp cottage type shelter that she throws down? Doesn't she even do that in the first episode of Dragon Ball? I'm not that familiar, and I'm not trying to ridicule you in any way, Mr. S. It just occurred to me, because I have the image of her pressing the capsule corp button and throwing it down, and a little house popping out of that fucking thing. So that might actually be what's in the minds of the developers, because the cottage goes away eventually. It goes the way of the dodo eventually. Where I think I talked about this, where um, the tent and the sleeping bag are all that remain. Okay, these things are tough enough that we're not doing this. I gotta be smart and careful because this stuff is powerful. And it heals itself. Woohoo! Yep, that happened. This might be a get the hell out of here kind of fight. Uh. Fuck, Layla, I need you to be something other than useless, babe. Fuck this. This might be a we gotta run like hell fight, but I really don't want to run like hell from this fight because you get we're gonna die. You get so fuck. Yep, we're gonna wipe. Kyle, my dude, you're definitely getting life after this. After we get to this next town. Holy fuck. Final Fantasy is these old Final Fantasies, man. Even 7 will do that shit to you. 8, they might all actually, now that I think about it. I don't know about 9 and 10 off the top of my head, but man, they will absolutely, in this old 8-bit days, throw you a capricious wipe just to do it, just to make sure you're paying attention to every fight. Oh my god, we will talk to these red mages in a moment. Holy balls. Hey, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for those likes. That is very cool of you. I really do appreciate it. 3 likes is as many as we've gotten on the Final Fantasy stream, so we are building every night, and that's really fucking cool of you guys. I believe it is as you say. The time to break the tower seal is upon us. They talk weird. We've many ancient texts in our town. Please browse them at your leisure. 3 artifacts protect the seal on the tower. 3 artifacts protect the seal on the tower. This is Mysidia, Kingdom of Mages. You've certainly come a long way to be here. Yes, I have. No, wait a minute. We don't want to do armor first. We don't want to do armor. We don't want to do weapons. You will take your TPK and you will like it. That's right, Mr. S. We want to come in here and look at their spells. Because I have a feeling. That there are some spells in here. Bingo. Wall. Holy. Life. Teleport. Because we didn't have to buy ours. We found it in that cave. Fear is a no. Basuna is normally a no. Oh, wait a minute. I meant I got the right one. Basuna is normally a no, but we keep getting stun locked a little bit. So, huh. Well, slap my ass and call me Samuel Spade. Don't do that, actually. I swear to God, don't actually do that. Scourge does not do in this game what it does in other games. It's our poison. I wonder if enemies are weak against it. Also, ner, yer, yarp, and harms, and yibby 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 yes. Also, yes. And no. Yes. And, yep. And, yes. So Holy goes to Furion and Mouse. Sorry, so Mr. S and Mouse get Holy. And, I gave everybody the other spells we bought. And we gave, here, I'm actually going to go to their pages because I don't remember. And I couldn't talk my way through it. Because I got to organize it anyway. So we gave Mr. S Holy and Teleport. Teleport shouldn't be above Holy because that's going to be confusing to try to find. But you know when I'm going to fix it? Never. Anyway, Scourge deals poison damage. I'm going to work on that and see if that actually works. And then we gave to Mouse. Now, this is the maximum amount of spells they can actually have. She can only have 2 more spells in her book. So she's got Cure, Protect, Blink, Shell, Teleport, Life, Protect, Blink, Shell, Teleport, Wall, Barrier, Holy. Holy goes after... Nope. Holy goes after Teleport so that we're consistent across our books so that it's at least always the same. Thunder goes before Blizzard. And Bearsark is actually gonna just fuck it. Who cares? I'll very rarely cast it. Kyle. Why are you the way you are, Kyle? Kyle has... It does make sense. Scourge, by definition, does cause great suffering, and you're totally right, Mr. S. In the previous game, it was their instant death spell, so I didn't even read it in this one because I thought it was going to maintain or continue the insta-death. That was their death spell, was called Scourge in the first Final Fantasy, so I've never even read the description before like a stupid ass. That's why I was so surprised. It totally makes sense. It didn't make sense that Scourge would be the insta-death in the first Final Fantasy. That's the first Final Fantasy. I need to stress that correctly every time, or it will annoy me that I didn't. That's why they fixed it, and I admire that. I think that's cool. So yeah, thank you for agreeing and for letting me take the time. They fixed the Giant's Glove. Do you see what the difference in the Thief's and the Giant's Glove are in this game? The Thief's Glove gives you plus 10 agility and plus 40. Yeah, damn. I mean, that's a good point. They're going to die painfully is how they set it up in the first Final Fantasy. Totally. I agree with that. So it's 10 agility, plus 10 agility, plus 40 magic interference with the Thief's Glove. And the Giant's Glove is plus 10 strength, plus 60 magic interference. So we're going to buy 2 of Dems and 1 of Dems. And then we really got to sell some of this garbage. We have way more Fire Tomes than we'll ever need. Thunder Tomes, Blizzard. Sleep is a no. Blind is a no. Blind remains a no. I didn't need to buy that Berserk Tome, so we're going to leave 1. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. We won't need these mithril weapons. This trident is a badass. We're going to sell a mithril spear and a regular spear. Battle axe can go in Toto. We've got too many maces. We got too many bows. We got too many shields, yo. Too many shields. Giant's helms, fine. That's too many shields. Too many helms. Too many helms. Too many helms. Why are you guys holding on to all this shit? Their backpack has got to be about 10,000 pounds. Alright, anyway. You are the one that I like to have thief's gloves. But a fair heavy helmet and fair heavy armor. I like you to have about 100. I like to try to keep you Furion around 100 magic interference. Your name's not Furion. Your name's Mr. S. Mouse, I like you with low interference, so Thief's Glove. The lowest interference armor I got here is silver. Silver queer ass. It is pronounced queer ass. In fact. And you get Giants gloves, and I like you and basically I just like you in the highest defense bullshit I've got. And so you get to have a stupid magic interference, and we're good with that, and we move on. We do not equip the guest party member. The guest party member is a liability and an excuse for us to level up our life magic. That's deeply fucked up to actually say out loud. Do you realize that? Like, having someone follow you around so you can resurrect them for people to realize that you're a badass is a seriously fucked up thing to do. Like, if Jesus had one of his followers that just kept dying, he was terminally ill, and he just kept bringing him back to life so people could see that he could do it. It's like, Jesus, God, at some point, Jesus, please just heal the man. A very small island lies in the middle of the sea. There you'll find the Black Mask, the White Mask's counterpart. Me am no need magic, me am just need sword. Yeah, pretty much. So you want to break the seal in the tower? Yes, I agree this is the time. We will do nothing to stop you. You must first collect the 2 masks, then travel to a certain cave somewhere on this continent. Within you should find a crystal rod, an artifact you will need if you were to enter the tower. Go on, die and make me look good. Yeah, that's basically what we're keeping the guest party members in the party for, is to make us look badass. And so when they catch up with us, it's time to move on to the next party member. Like the next guest party member, the next story beat. Some time ago, a wizard named Minwu passed through town on his way to the tower. You'd best hurry after him. A statue of a goddess is enshrined beneath the city. She watches over the crystal rods. Okay. So our hints are mask of white and black shades. Crystal rod. Ooh, I hadn't saved since bitch was in my party either. Crystal rod, Minwu. Minwu Tower. Okay, so that tower, I know where that tower is. This is what I was gearing up. I was trying to have 2,000 HP and all of my spells above level 6. All of my spells above level 6 before I went into that tower. And I didn't do the thing that I said I wanted to do. I immediately didn't do the thing. I said I wanted to do only one thing in that town, and I didn't do the only thing I wanted from that town. So we are going back, and we're fixing that. All right, bitch. Holy's a little weaker in this game because, you can level it up. Now, what I want to see... Ooh, Scourge does actual poison damage. Fucking bitch. We did say that we wanted that to happen. It just means I have to turn off auto attack. Oh, Kyle, I wanted you to do that after she came back. I mean, she's again a liability. They one-shot her. She should be in the back row, and I should give her a bow. Oh no, but yeah, we're having fun. This is what I call fun. Manufacturing difficulty out of a normal fight. Oh, why did I do that? She's gonna accidentally kill herself like a big dumb dummy. I'm impressed with our magic defense. I just want to say. I want to see if that does persistent. If it will. How do I want to say this? If it will actually proc a dot. All right, there. That's some nerd talk. Proc a dot, indeed. What is this? Team chat and WoW? Maybe. I don't know why they're attacking her, but that's fine. I need this fight to be working toward ending, though. So, Kyle, do what you do, my friend. Take those fists of furry and dust them off. Oh, those aren't fists. Oh, you're not powerful. Oh, no. Oh, no. I have been arrogant. We're fine. This is what I want to happen. We gotta gauge our how powerful we are against this stuff somehow, and we're close enough to town that we can just run back, use the N real quick. Yeah, we're good. We are good. We can tease our way through this stuff. Like cutting your girlfriend's hair. La 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 la. That's kind of what the music sounds like. This is also why I keep my weapon skill. I worry about weapon skill thresholds and cure. You got to keep your cure magic up to play the way I'm trying to play, to stay ahead of the game, not ahead of the game, to stay behind the game for maximum drama on a live stream. You gotta have your cure magic adequate. And you want your weapons to be adequate. You don't want to have anybody with oh my god, just a super weak uh, attack set. No, it's fine. She's gonna get a whole bunch of HP for this. Just don't be dead when we actually kill this thing. Ooh, it's taken a while. Oh no. That's why we did this. What did we do? We did this. Ah man. This is getting ugly. But that's fine. Again, we wanted the drama of coming here a little underpowered so I could show you how powerful this continent jumps to. Like the Empire also has to keep up with the power scale of this continent. You see what I'm saying? So like they're going to be a little bit behind me as we go and we explore this continent. They think they've won basically. I mean, other than us blowing up the dreadnought, they're going to be behind us, or so we think. And so they also, if they're following us down here, they have to adjust too. At least that's the logical progression of how I expect the story to follow ahead of me. Unlike in Final Fantasy VII, where I expect them to be ahead of me everywhere I go, because they own the whole world. Um, one gets the sense while playing this game that the empire that we're dealing with doesn't own this continent. If there's piracy and she wants to help us fight, it's unlikely that they have the same kind of omniscient or omnipresent. Mouse's life went up. See, it worked exactly as planned. Mr. S could have had a better level, but Mouse had a good level. Look at that. Okay, I've been waiting for this moment. I missed it with her magic defense, but do you see her evasion jumped from 1 times 215 to 2 times 215? That means that she can now evade 2 attacks. So if they like get 3 hits, now they'll only land 1. That's cool. She subtracts 2 from their hit total. Kyle got a big jump, 36 HP, and his stamina goes up to 37. Makes you wonder if their HP goes up by their stamina every level in this game. Entirely possible, because Layla went up 19 HP and her stamina just went up 220. So entirely possible. And her magic went up, and her MP went up. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Her evasion went up by a great deal. Magic defense went up by a great deal. And we just got all the money in the history of the world. So we really nice. Yeah, 2 times the dodge. Look, unironically, I know I say this a lot, but I think that's a really cool mechanic that you can increase your dodge percent to where you dodge multiple hits. That's cool. It's not that each hit has a percentage chance to miss. It's that the better your dodge gets, the fewer hits they just get to land maximum. That's cool. So if you work on your evasion enough and you go into an area that, hits for, they get 6 hits every offensive turn, and you've got 6 times defense, they just can't hit you. That's cool. 7 times defense even. I think that's neat. I think that's a pretty cool system. A lot of thought went into this. A lot of thought went into this. Fuck, I did it again. I mean, it's fine, but I would like to be smarter than what I am. I'm not even stoned anymore. I quit smoking an hour ago. No, I feel great. I do want to move Mr. S to swords, right? Swords and daggers. Swords and daggers. Oh boy. Yeah. So the he says for the turn-based game, dodge isn't overpowered because they actually attack more than once. That's D&D and AD&D. 3.5 did it too. Fourth got rid of that. The number of just basic attacks representing how good you are with your weapons and representing, you can't see me acting it out, but representing combo attacks, right? Chaining combo attacks. And so it only makes sense that as you get good with a shield or as you get good at evading, that you would also be good at chaining together, dodging their combos on purpose. I am smitten. This game, man. I don't have another sword. Yes, I do. It's just not any good. That's fine. We'll give him a better sword. Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm the dumbest. I haven't done items. I need items. And I'm not 100% sure that I looked at their weapons. What can I do for ye? I didn't buy new weapons. Flam lance is neat. Ogre killer sounds like a bit of OP nonsense that we don't need, and I cannot afford cottages, so we cannot go too far from here. I misspoke. Off we go. Off we go. We're going to work on our magic on the way there, and then we're going to pop a cottage to get our MP back, and then we're going to go into... Well, we have to work on our magic in this fight. These are a real problem. These guys are a real problem. They're going to get our Asuna up. They're going to level up Asuna, that's for sure. Damn. Dab, 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 dab. I'm sure that Scourge won't hurt them, and that Holy is so weak that that's a mistake. But maybe Layla can make herself useful. Did I just have him? Oh, thank God. Did I just have him? I did. I had him Scourge the whole party. Why did I do that? Yep, saw that coming. Hey, a type match. Remember I was talking about type matches not being a thing? They were becoming a thing. They were experimenting with it in this game. I can't believe I did that. I now know the answer. Yep. Scourge leaves a persistent effect. You stupid idiot. Why did you do that? On purpose, no less. Swing. See, really? Is Ogre Killer a mace, a bow? Just call it Dave. Dave the Dagger and be done with it. I don't think you're wrong, Mr. S. Oh boy. Paying attention to you, and you're trying to die on the screen, my friend. Golly. This is what I told you this was going to be like, and I am not regretting my choice, but I am not going to be able to leave town as soon as I wanted. I'm going to have to hover around town for a little while. Just a little while. And in fact, this stream, how are we? Where are we for time? We're right up on, hey, thank the four of you for being here. Thank you for those 3 likes. I know I've said it recently, but thank you for being here. It might make sense for us to just grind for another 5 minutes, and then for me to say, it makes sense for me to call it a night, actually, because it's approaching midnight. We really need this thing to die. Our spells are weak. So you remember I was talking I keep talking about like what other people say about this game a lot. I talk a lot about what other people say about this game because that's where this idea of playing this came from. Was other people talk shit about this game, but you remember I kept talking about the idea of your spells can become underpowered if you don't use them enough, and it's like, yes, I have allowed our spells to be underpowered. God damn it, leave her alone. I like for my spells to be able to kill in one shot, so I really want my spells up at level 7. We're not getting them that high this stream, but we really need our cure spell to be a lot higher, so we spend less time healing. But this is fine. This is fine. Damn it, that's less fine. Because like we want to work on life, and we wanted to work on our spells anyway. It's just going to be a little expensive when we go to the inn a lot, which we don't have to do. We can just heal up between fights like we're headed to a boss fight with every random encounter for a little while. And it's meant to feel that way. This is design. This is intentional. The leap wouldn't be this dramatic by accident in a sequel that never had a leap that was this dramatic outside of that one swamp. And swamps should be that treacherous. And the more of them we drop, the easier this fight gets. I'm gonna roll my eyes and make that noise every time. It's never made sense to me that you get access to better skills by gaining experience swinging your sword, Mr. S. He says it only makes sense to him that you get better by using your spells, that your spells only get more powerful by using them, and that's only ever made sense to me. It's never made sense that you even in D&D that you develop new spells by leveling. It just never made sense. Who this? Taking a risk here this turn to see if I can burn this one down. And now I gotta be a little careful not to kill it with Layla or Kyle dead. Well, unlikely that Kyle will be dead. Well, I was gonna try. But yeah, I really do like using the multi-class as a verb for these guys. Like the spells that you give them and the gear that you equip them in really does actually determine what class they're playing. And but there's no name on the class, and that going classless or jobless without naming them and just letting people pick from skill trees, the average gamer really hates that. I don't know why, but they really hate it, and that was a really good fight for us. Mouse got hands, Kyle got thunder, sword, and knife, and Layla got thunder. That was a really good fight for us because Mouse and Kyle can move to different weapons. I was just trying to cast Cure one morning. I got it popped on my screen, but I didn't read it fast enough. And a lightning bolt come out of my hand. Crazy, right? Anyway. Carl needs to be revived for unrelated reasons. Right. Now that makes sense in D&D terms for a sorcerer, but not for like a wizard. And like if you didn't spend time, and I understand that you're supposed to role play it, but like, Chrono getting life in Chrono Trigger doesn't make sense to me as far as the role play goes. It's just something that they gave him for mechanical reasons. And Kyle, I want to double check this. Yeah, he gained 37 HP, and that's how much stamina he gains. That's cool. You gain your HP and your yep, that's exactly what it is. Layla gained 20. You gain your HP, your stamina and HP when you gain HP. That's badass. That's seriously badass. I like that a great deal. That's how it should be. That's how I wanted it in the first one. A lot of this is stuff that they clearly played their first game a lot to test it and make it ready to go to market. And they clearly, there were things that when they were done that they wanted to do better. And I like that a lot. I love that in a development studio where this feels like this feels more than any of the other people will call Final Fantasy an anthology of games, and that's not what it is. They just have the same title because they're by the same developer and the same core team, and so there's a promise of a consistency and quality there. It's the Final Fantasy game you will ever need. Is this one that we're releasing right now? Whatever. That's the promise that is being made with the title of the game, with the franchise. It's not an anthology of games in any way, because they're not thematically about the same thing. And anthologies can be different authors and tend to be different authors. And the Final Fantasy games almost all have the same core creative team, so the same author group of authors. But this one, more than any of the others, feels like a direct sequel. Even 10-2 isn't a direct sequel mechanically to 10. This one is of all of the other ones feels the most to me like a direct sequel of the mechanics. And as a kid, of the mechanics of the previous game. And as a kid, that's what I always wanted. I always wanted the mechanics to sequel. Just build on the mechanics. Build on the what I'm already good at with the combat, and make it bigger and better and newer and more and harder. And yeah, that's too much work for a studio, and I understand why they didn't do it ever. Yet Mr. S said that he never understood what connected all the games, and yeah, that's what connects them all is that they're all the same core. They're all the same core writers, programmers. Um, yep, they're all the same core team. Ugh. I have a really ugly like itches and feels gross, but it doesn't stink. Sore on the bottom of my foot that itches and feels gross. But you see how quickly we went from 600 HP maximum to 1000 HP maximum just by fighting in the area where it's hard to fight. And so that's something that people don't do as well, is they'll avoid the places that are difficult for the places that are easier, because obviously it's easier to survive in those places. And what they do is they cheat themselves out of the opportunity to rapidly develop to where they need to be, to just get there quickly. Like I watched this guy who's, yeah, like different sessions, but they all use the same version of D&D. Yeah, sort of. Um, you'll notice once we get to 3, you'll notice that they start riffing on the core rules of D&D, but yeah, they're still fundamentally trying to play and build around or out of D&D for absolute certain. The active time battle system of Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, tries to make it real time, tries to, because as you may know from D&D, what it's trying to do, what it actually does mechanically is so you have rounds that are all of the player characters and non-player characters turns, and then each player character every round has one turn. uh, Extenuating circumstances notwithstanding, we're not talking about ticky tack rules. We're talking about basic rule sets, just real quickly. That each turn is supposed to take 6 seconds, something like that. Okay? And so what Final Fantasy did is they took that and they went literal with it. And so they did that active time battle where every player can act every 6 seconds, basically. And then where wait and active allow you to control the difficulty of the game is if you're indecisive, as we noticed in Chrono Trigger, having it on active can let the enemies, because they're continuing to act every 6 seconds or whatever. And this is why I think Chrono Trigger didn't quite understand fundamentally what Final Fantasy did about the ATB system, but it wasn't the Chrono Trigger. The team that developed that weren't the guys that developed it. That was the guy whose name is on Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, or one of those guys. I can never remember their names, and that makes me a bad person because I'm a huge fan of their work. Mr. S and Mouse got Blizzard, and Layla got Sword and Knife. Great. Kyle and Mouse still need to come off their weapons. She can't go sword daggers, so we're gonna go maces. At this point, we'll just call it a mace. Staves and shields. Ooh, okay, well, her magic interference goes way up, but that's fine. She'll be alright. And he, I think, actually does want unarmed. No, he wants also maces and shields. Do I have a decent? Yeah, I still got it. No, I don't either. How about if we give him the flame lance and the ice shield. And then he's gonna need, I'm actually starting to get tired now, so the being talkative is about trying to stay awake, so I don't really know what I'm saying. Deal with it. If you've ever been at a sleepover, that's what hanging out with me is like, alright? Cope. Maybe I need to just call this, instead of relaxing with Shaggy, maybe I need to call it like sleepover with Shaggy. Bring your own damn sleeping bag and keep your pants on. I mean, I'm not keeping my pants on, but I'm not keeping my diddle where you can see it either. But yeah, there's a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, maybe younger version of me who thinks that I'm just the coolest fucking person in the world for living and sleeping out of a tent, because that's what I actually did in the summers as a kid. Is I would set up my Boy Scout tent in the backyard and I just slept in the tent every night. One rule: no commando. That's correct. Actually, it wasn't in the front backyard. It was in the front yard. And some of the bad things that happened to me with older boys happened in that tent. So there's a reason that little boy thinks that I'm so fucking cool for this. Because I am putting myself at huge risk. And not just for that. I mean, as we've already witnessed within the last 10 days, I mean, somebody could just destroy my tent to do it. No one has destroyed it recently, but somebody did try to throw a rock through it. And then again, last year, I did spend the winter with a gaping hole in my tent that has only recently been replaced. I've only recently replaced this tent to make it livable. Oh my god, what are you doing? Kyle's a fucking madman! Did I have him attack the party on purpose, or does he just by default fuck up the party now? He just doesn't even know how to use spells on anybody but the party. You're a madman, Kyle, and I love it. You're a wild card. You're the Charlie Day of this team. she's high enough level with her weapons that she can do damage on a crit. That's how much damage in terms of D&D. What these things have isn't high defense. What they have is enormous damage resistance. And so probably a lot of why I love this game is that I am a D&D rules lawyer. I have those books, the PHB, the DMG. I have those books, used to have them memorized forward and back. I can't do it now anymore. It's been so long since I meaningfully played, but I used to. Yep, it's 22 there. It's consistently what their stamina is how much HP they get per level. That's really, really what I wanted it to be in the original. So I'm glad they got that right. Just little details like that. I play this like it's 1988 when this game released. I play this like it's 1988 when I play it. Um, kind of as a thought experiment, but also like to ask whether it holds up, because I can run that simulation at the same time. I can play it like it's 1988, knowing what I know in 2025. And not only does this game hold up, but this game was bad ass in 1988. It was bad in 1928 too. If this had made its way back to 1928, time would be very different. But history would have been very different. But this was awesome back then. This was so different, but obviously not influential. The job system of 3 was much more influential. And 3 is the same. 3 is the same kind of game. The 3 has the ATB and the job system. And so 3 goes from 1 is difficult to be difficult because Dungeons and Dragons back in the day was difficult to be just unfun to play. Um, so Final Fantasy goes from being difficult to be fun to play, right? Taking what sucks about D&D and making it fun. And then Final Fantasy 2 takes the leveling system and makes it make sense. And then Final Fantasy 3 undoes that to make the combat system make sense. And I will take the compromise. Frankly, I will take the compromise. Because I could only imagine that this character development system like this in an ATB, a real time, would probably be really difficult to balance for the developers to keep it from being really easy to exploit, like really easy to exploit. It's not just exploitable, is not what I mean. This game is exploitable, but it's not easy to exploit. You can't make, you can't, uh-oh. Yeah, I can't get them out of that because his Asuna's not high enough level yet. Um, so we have to go back to town. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Mouse's shield leveled up though. I can't like stand and do one fight, one combat until Mouse's strength levels up 7 times. Even the longest fights we've had where all of their stats level up, they'd only leveled up once. I approve of that as well. Okay, well, since I gotta go back to town to buy fucking, I was hoping that his Isuna was high enough level that I wouldn't need to buy, they're called golden needles, gold needles in this game. Since I have to go back to town to buy gold needles, and I have said a few times that it's approaching midnight, and I'm really just talking to keep my brain active so I don't just fall asleep on stream. Since we had to come back to town, I may as well just call it a night once I get these gold needles. Damn, that was right the first time. Yeah, back 12 of them. Because that's just, I like to have them in increments of 10 until, well, I don't have a lot of money, well, I don't have infinite money, and then when I have infinite money, we'll just buy a random number more than 10 and assume that that'll get us through the whole game. Probably like 42 or whatever. Just hold it down until I'm done holding it down, and I find it annoying holding or hearing the brrr. And sometimes that's at 99, and sometimes it's less than that. I better go back to the end because I'll be annoyed with myself when I come on here tomorrow. Like, why the fuck did I go to the end? It was a 750 Gil Knight, and I should have got myself the cure experience of healing and just paying for my MP. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, if I wanted to exploit the game, there are ways I could exploit it, but it's not easy and convenient. The easy and convenient thing is playing the game it was designed to be played. And that, frankly, that's unusual among modern games. For the way it was designed to be played, to be the convenient and easy and fun way, that's unusual. And so I just want to really pat this game on the back because I can't know if in the future some child that's going to become a video game developer really hears what I'm talking about and really, really takes what I'm saying to heart and makes a game that's both fun and challenging and rewarding and only takes an hour. You can stop every hour and feel satisfied. When that happens, I'll feel like a winner. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you guys for being here. There's no follow up to that. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Uh-oh. It means a lot to me. This or something like it. Sorry about that. My stream crashed on my end. Anyway, this or something like it is the only thing that I have ever really wanted to do with my life, like dreamed about doing with my life. And so thank you as always for the opportunity. And tonight I'm not going to ask you to pray for anything because today I let the rage win. And so, you know, just work on you is what I would encourage today. Just pray for something nice for yourself. You don't have to worry about other people today because I'm not worrying about other people today in a way. In a way. Of course I am worrying about other people today, but the people in my life are winning right now, so I don't have to, and that let me blow up with few consequences. So just take care of you. Thank you for being here. You'll hear from me tomorrow. It'll be the same schedule tomorrow. We're going to try to get 8 hours in. We're going to do our best to get 8 hours in to stand in solidarity with my guys who are working those 8 hour jobs that really matter. While my body doesn't work, my brain does. And then maybe someday it'll pay for itself in food. And we'll have a house and we can do bigger and better things. Thank you. Until next time, I have been Shaggy. I am Phil Alitea.